Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 36 of the best sports show out, Highly Opinionated. I'm your co-host, Josh. Ladies and gentlemen, the best co-host in the game. What's up, JG?
What up, fellas? How we doing this week, man? How we doing today?
We good, man. How you, man? Everything good?
Everything is great. Can't complain at all.
Good, man. You ready to get episode 36 started?
I'm ready to go.
Let's go. Before we get started, let's introduce the man, the myth, the legend himself, the best Mr. Everything here on Highly Opinionated. Ross, what's going on, brother?
What's good, Josh? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. I can't complain, man. Had a great weekend, ready to dive in and talk about this sports, man, over this past week.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and one of my favorite things when doing the show is some breaking news dropping either right before or in the middle, so we can get y'all real time reaction. So just stay tuned because we're gonna have some stuff to talk about.
Absolutely. It's definitely some breaking news. Before we get to that breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for watching episode 35. We appreciate you guys for tuning in, watching, subscribing, liking, commenting on us, commenting on the show, commenting on last week's episode. We appreciate all the support. Again, it's an open space for any and everyone that loves sports. Come here, give your opinion. The show is called Highly Opinionated for a reason. So we just are so grateful and thankful for you guys to comment, like, subscribe here at Highly Opinionated. Also, speaking for my brother, the Club JG podcast, bro, you're doing great things, man. Salute to you, man. Keep doing what you're doing over there, brother.
Always, man. I definitely appreciate that every time, bro. Appreciate you both for having me here.
Absolutely. We appreciate you for being here. Ross, let them know where they can follow us at on social media.
Yes, sir. As always, it's gonna be on the screen, so y'all can follow us on Instagram at highly opinionated __. Follow us on TikTok at highly opinionated _SS, and follow us on Twitter or X at highly O_SS. And of course, y'all already on Instagram or on YouTube, so make sure y'all like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we will comment back.
Absolutely. We definitely will comment back, and we look forward to having some of those people who make those comments as guests on the show. We look forward to that. JG, let's get episode 36 started, my brother.
Let's get to it.
As Ross alluded to, breaking news. Breaking news. The Baltimore Ravens have released kicker Justin Tucker, a fan favorite, the most accurate, the best kicker in NFL history. The Baltimore Ravens released him. We obviously know he was accused of sexual misconduct. So obviously the Ravens can say that's not a factor in it, but obviously he was accused of sexual misconduct. So that's obviously going to, way over your head, carry over your head, things like that. And last season was his worst season as an NFL kicker. He was 22 of 30. He was 73% as a field goal kicker. That is the worst season he's ever had in the NFL. He's a career 89% field goal kicker. What are your thoughts about the Ravens releasing Justin Tucker? Do you think he plays football again?
If I'm being honest, we knew this was coming. Ravens fans like myself, I call Justin Tucker the prodigal son of Baltimore because he has helped save the Ravens countless times, gotten them to the Super Bowl, won them so many games. As you said, the most accurate kicker in NFL history at one time. But this is in the realm of Deshaun Watson. Let's just call it what it is. The allegations and the accusations against Justin Tucker are in the same realm as Deshaun Watson. This Ravens organization is not going to tolerate that. Years ago, we saw what happened with Ray Rice. He was accused of domestic violence. The Ravens were put in a weird situation, and then the video came out that we all saw, and the Ravens had no choice but to immediately terminate Ray Rice. This is an organization that traditionally does not tolerate anything with off the field especially with regards to what Justin Tucker's been accused of. So I kind of had a feeling in my gut it was coming. But what really did it for me, what put the nail in the coffin for me, was the Ravens drafted a kicker. They drafted Tyler Loop out of I think Arizona State. He was a 6th-round draft pick. This was Justin Tucker's replacement. It was only a matter of time. The Ravens can talk about it's a football decision all they want. Yeah, he had his worst kicking season in his career, but let's just call it what it is. Ravens weren't going to have that go on. I would have been shocked if Tucker was going to be starting week 1 next season after I first heard about this story, because I know how they operate. So it's sad because, like myself, I'm sure a lot of Ravens fans that I know were huge fans of Justin Tucker. They're probably absolutely floored that he would find himself in a situation like this. I think everyone was very shocked when they found out Tucker's name was attached to something like this. But you can't do stuff like this and expect to remain with an organization, especially one like the Ravens. I don't think this. With that being said, I'd be more surprised if Justin Tucker never plays again versus him signing with another team and playing football again. I'd be very surprised if he didn't play another down again. I think some team somewhere may give him another chance. That's how I feel about it. How other people may feel about it, to each their own. Some people will say he should never play football again. I understand why you would feel that way. But history tells me that I think players who find themselves in situations like this will ultimately find themselves with another job. I'm not sure where, I'm not sure when, but I think Tucker will kick again and play in the NFL.
I agree. I definitely think, in my opinion, he's the best kicker to ever kick an NFL football. So I think he'll definitely get another job again. Some team will be desperate, look past the allegations against him, and definitely sign him to an active NFL roster. Now, what team that is, I have no idea, but I definitely think he will play in the NFL again. You mentioned Tyler Luke. He went to Arizona. He was 6 of 9 on 50-plus yard field goals.
Wasn't impressed. I saw that stuff.
The Ravens drafted him in the 6th round, 186 pick. So obviously, when you draft a kicker, he's gonna be your kicker. Whether you draft him, we've seen kickers get drafted in the 1st round. Obviously, the Raiders drafted Sebastian Janikowski years ago in the 1st round, or even we've seen kickers get drafted in the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round. So that's going to be your kicker. So as far as me with Justin Tucker, again, I just think he's the best kicker to ever do it. He didn't hit a game-winning kick in a Super Bowl, but the Ravens won by 3, which was off of his leg when they beat the San Francisco 49ers in New Orleans, Louisiana in that Super Bowl. So I think, for me, I just think he's the best kicker to ever do it. It's terrible that Justin Tucker got himself caught up in this situation. He should have known better. Should be, I'm not accusing him. I'm not saying he's guilty of anything, but he shouldn't put himself in this type of situation. He should be smart enough and understand, like, man, I'm going to stay away from this and that. But he didn't. He's in the position he's in now. So I think as time heals all wounds, I think that he'll eventually have his jersey retired by the Baltimore Ravens.
I'd be a little surprised at that, to be honest. But I know what he's done for the organization, but when you have that kind of stain on your career and the way that the Ravens operate, that would surprise me that if they had him up in the Ring of Honor, because they take a lot of pride in that. They don't want a lot of stuff like what Tucker's got himself into to be attached to anyone's name. Now, again, nobody's perfect. We all have our flaws and everything. Again, Tucker should not have found himself in this situation. That's his fault. These are decisions that you make that can affect your career. But from a football perspective, he should be celebrated. But right now, it's just kind of hard to see that just with everything that's transpired.
No, I definitely get it right now. But I'm looking, like I said, I'm looking down the line. The Ravens, I'll just say this, and I'm not going to call out no names. Ladies and gentlemen, go search the Baltimore Ravens Ring of Honor. They're not all choir boys. So for me, again, like I said, I think as time heals, especially what I think will happen with this situation, I feel like there'll be some type of settlement, some type of agreement with the situation. So I think down the line, I think Justin Tucker will get his jersey retired and be in the Ring of Honor with I don't know about what. Well, Ring of Honor means you get your jersey retired, right?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Okay, yeah. So I think he'll be in the Ring of Honor. I think he'll get his jersey retired for sure. Next, let's go to the some NFL power rankings came out from ESPN. Post-draft power rankings. The number 1 team is the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2 team is Philadelphia Eagles. Number 3 team, Buffalo Bills. Number 4 team, Detroit Lions. Number 5 team, Baltimore Ravens. Number 6, Washington Commanders. Number 7, Los Angeles Rams. Number 8, Green Bay Packers. Number 9, Minnesota Vikings. Number 10, Cincinnati Bengals. That is your top 10 of the ESPN post-draft power rankings. What's your thoughts on these NFL power rankings?
So looking at number 6, they got the Washington Commanders up there in the top 10. I get it. Jaden Daniels lit the league on fire, had the greatest rookie season of all time. I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit on DC. I'm not saying that they won't be one of the better teams in the NFC and of course within their division, but I got to pay attention again. History tells me that you can't drink the Kool-Aid too much on a rookie, or on a quarterback to come off an amazing rookie year. We saw that with CJ Stroud. Everyone thought that the Houston Texans were like Super Bowl bound. They were going to go up like this, and they still are on a great trajectory with CJ Stroud, but he took a step back. NFL teams had more film out on them. The Texans as a whole, there was more film on them, and they didn't light up the league like we thought they would. They didn't run away with the division like we thought they would last year. The Commanders still have to deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. They're not going anywhere. And if anything, they may have possibly gotten better, which I think is crazy. But you got to deal with them. The Dallas Cowboys actually had a pretty good draft too, so we can't summarily dismiss the Dallas Cowboys for what they've done from a talent acquisition perspective. And I just got it's a very wait and see thing for me with Jaden Daniels. I'm not questioning his greatness. I think he's going to be an unbelievable quarterback for in the NFL. I just think that with history telling me about the sophomore slump, I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit on DC. I think 6 was just a little bit too high, but not too crazy high. And then another thing for me was the New Orleans Saints. They should be at the very bottom of these power rankings. They currently have the New York Giants down there. I think that's disrespectful to the New York Giants. I think they got better. They had a great draft, getting Abdul Carter, getting Jackson Dart, getting Cam Scatterboo in the backfield to join with Tyrone Tracy. Having Russell Wilson as likely your starting quarterback and your bridge quarterback for Jackson Dart. You've got Malik Neighbors down there, and you gave him a quarterback that is really good at the deep ball. Malik Neighbors is going to get more targets downfield. I think Malik Neighbors is going to be like a star for fantasy football next season. Probably like, first or top 5 guy off the board. So I think the Giants should get a little more respect here. I'm not saying, vault them up to like middle of the pack. I'm not saying all that, but their defense got better. They have a more competent quarterback under center. And, this team is showing signs that they're trying here. And it's like, so whereas the Saints, they might, in my opinion, have the worst quarterback room in the NFL. We don't know about Tyler Shuck. He has an injury history before coming into the draft. Derek Carr has a shoulder injury that is threatening him even playing this season. And we're just not sure about Spencer Rattler, and we're not sure about Eason, their other quarterback there. Alvin Kamara is getting older. He's not the same guy anymore. The wide receivers for the Saints can't seem to stay on the field, and the defense is aging. So I think New Orleans is going to be probably in the running for the lottery. Well, I don't know if I can say lottery, but like they'll be picking in the top 5, I think, likely for another quarterback next season. So those are my qualms with the power rankings with the NFL right
now. You made some great points. I think the Giants shouldn't be 32. I agree with you on that. I definitely think they've gotten better. Now, will that surmise and does that mean that they will make the playoffs? No, but I definitely think they've improved their football team as a whole, and that's all you can do during the offseason. I agree with you on the Saints. I think the Saints, I'm already saying it now, I think they'll have the worst record in the NFL. I just don't trust their quarterback room. First year head coach, learning on the job. Kellen Moore just came off of playing, being the offensive coordinator with the Philadelphia Eagles. Now he's the head coach with the New Orleans Saints. Different roles. Sometimes everyone is not meant to be a head coach. Some guys are meant to be offensive coordinators. So I think we'll find out what Kellen Moore is. So it's a question with head coach. The age factor you mentioned on offense and defense with the Saints. So I think the Saints should be at 32. But the biggest problem I have with this list is number 1 and number 2. Number 1 is Kansas City. Number 2 is Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia should be number 1. They're the Super Bowl champs. They destroyed Kansas City in the Super Bowl. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles, I know they lost Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I know they lost Milton Williams. I know they lost Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham. But they re-signed Zach Braun. They selected Jahai Campbell. I like him. So I think the Eagles should be number 1 on the power rankings right now. Do I think they'll be the best team? Do I think the Eagles will go back-to-back? I do not. But right now, going into the season, they should get the respect as the Super Bowl champions and be number 1 and on the post-draft NFL power rankings. And the last point for me, Howie Roseman always wins the draft. He's always going to have about 2 to 4 players, sometimes even more, that he drafts and they become good to great players. So the Eagles should be number one. So just flip number one and number two. Eagles 1, Chiefs 2.
I 1000% agree with you. I think it's disrespectful to the Super Bowl champions, and I think it's just playing love favorites to Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Now I get it. Patrick Mahomes is one of the greatest we've ever seen. Andy Reid's one of the greatest we've ever seen coaching wise, but we just saw what the Eagles did to them. Everybody saw it. It wasn't just a Kendrick Lamar concert. We watched what the Eagles did to the Kansas City. So they should definitely be number one. I think it's quite disrespectful to them. But real quick, who in the NFC do you have knocking the Eagles off this year if you don't have them going back to back?
I like the Rams. I like the Rams. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna give you. Well, I like the Rams as the first team. The second team I like. I know y'all gonna think I'm a homer, but I think the Bucks played the Eagles very well the past 2-3 years. I think the Bucks could beat them. And then my sleeper is Minnesota. I like McCarthy as the quarterback. I think he can come in. I mean, I think he can come. It doesn't have to have the same season Sam Darnold has. Just has to come in and hit the playmakers like Sam Darnold did. So I would say the Rams, Tampa Bay, and Minnesota. They would be my 3 teams I think can knock the Eagles off.
I like your Vikings pick for sure, but what about Detroit? We forgetting about them. Like they had a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to get those guys back, and you imagine that they improved as well in the offseason, just getting their guys back healthy.
I like Detroit, but the problem I have with them is that they lost their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. So I mean, you can bring up guys, but you still don't have the same OC and DC in these players' ears that's been in these players' ears for the past couple of seasons. So I think it'll take a learning adjustment to that. And plus, let's just think about what happened. They won 15 games last year. They were 15-2, right?
Yep.
15-2. They won a lot of one-score games. That's going to regress down to the mean. Like they were probably like 7-1 in one-score games, 8-1 in one-score games. They're not going to be 8-1 in one-score games next year. That's probably going to regress down to the mean. So just like Philly when they got into close games, they probably lost only 1 or 2 close games throughout the season. So that to me that'll regress as well. So again, I like the Rams, the Bucks, the Vikings, and I'll even throw out another sleeper. I got to see a little bit more what they do, but I like Arizona. I like what Arizona did during the offseason. So I think the NFC is a little bit more wide open than people are giving credit for. The Eagles should be the favorite, not disrespecting them. They should be the favorite. But I think Arizona's gotten better. Tampa's gotten better. The Rams have gotten better. So even teams in their division, in the Eagles division, the Cowboys have gotten better. The Giants have gotten better. The Commanders have gotten better. Now, will that result in more wins? We don't know that. We got to let them play. But those teams have gotten better. So
that's a good point.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break. You're watching Highly Opinionated. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is sponsored by Wolves of War. In some of the episodes, you can see my co-host and Ross wearing a brand called Wolves of War. Wolves of War is our first sponsor, ladies and gentlemen, and we are so thankful to have those guys sponsoring Highly Opinionated. Thank you very much. The actual meaning of Wolves of War is that it represents having a strong path behind you through the battles of life. With the right people behind you, you can get through anything. You guys see the link for Wolves of War? Make sure you guys click on the link, shop, great apparels, t-shirts, sweatsuits, whatever you want, they have. Once again, Wolves of War. Make sure you guys go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Highly Opinionated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time, the best segment in sports. This week's edition of Let's Talk About It. John has his topic. I have my topic. My guy, Playboy, JG, you up first, brother. The floor is yours.
Thank you, kind sir. So my topic for Let's Talk About It, James Harden. So if you guys watched the NBA playoffs over the weekend, you saw that the Denver Nuggets absolutely crushed the Clippers in Game 7. It was not a contest in the second half. It was a complete blowout. And I don't blame Kawhi Leonard. I don't blame Ty Lue. I put the entire onus of this game on James Harden because once again, in a Game 7, when his team needed him to show up, he folded like cheap laundry. Again, we have seen this for years with James Harden. And people had the nerve to put James Harden ahead of Dwayne Wade in all-time shooting guard categories. I'm not talking about you, my man. I'm talking about people on ESPN that we watch and people on TV. It made me question how they got their job because we fall in love with the crossover, the step back three that James Harden has. And look, even I'm a fan of. Look at me. I'm a fan of James Harden. I really am. I've been a fan of James Harden for years as a player. But what if I'm going to stay consistent about how I define greatness? I'm going to stay consistent with James Harden. You cannot keep doing this in a winner-take-all game in the playoffs year after year after year and be considered one of the greatest players of all time. I'm sorry. There's no James Harden has failed countless times. But the Houston Rockets had a chance to go to the NBA Finals a couple of times. The Houston Rockets had a chance to knock off the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant in the playoffs. James Harden came up short. Everyone was raving about the Clippers this year, how Kawhi Leonard looks, and he's looked great since he came back. How Ty Lue has this machine going with the Clippers. How Norman Powell got better.
I'm sorry to cut you off. When you say everyone, you mean me? Go ahead.
Yeah, primarily you, but also people have been in my ear talking about the Clippers, like, hey, watch out for the Clippers. And I'm a Lakers fan, so I'm like, you know what? This means nothing to me because I've seen the Clippers have great teams in regular seasons years before James Harden. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Lamar Odom. Everyone's talking about here come the Clippers. We're taking over LA. We're going to get our first championship. Blah, blah, blah. And then you know what? The Clippers do what the Clippers do. They are the Cleveland Browns of the NBA. You can put anybody on that team. It don't matter. They will find a way to screw it up. That's what they do. Losing is in their DNA. And I'm taking a huge dig at the Clippers right now. I got grounds to do so. Because once again, you had a chance to do it. You had a better team than the Denver Nuggets going into the series. I thought the Clippers were going to win this series in 5. I said that. I'm a Lakers fan saying that about the Clippers. Yes. And they should have beaten them.
Yes, they should.
Their coach got fired 2 weeks before the playoffs got here. 2 weeks. And the GM. Who does that before the playoffs? Unless you're literally waving the white flag saying, this is not our year. It's over. We're conceding. Because no team does that. And then you're talking about Ty Lue versus and I keep forgetting this coach's name. I'm sorry to say that. But it's a rookie head coach. I know Jokic is there. I know Jamal Murray is there. That's a big deal. I understand all that. But if you Ty Lue and the Clippers, James Harden, you let another one get away. The Lakers got bounced by Minnesota. You had a golden opportunity because, look, I think a lot of people would have liked the Clippers against Oklahoma City. They would have liked that matchup. I would have been concerned for OKC in that matchup. I thought the Clippers had everything they needed to at least get to the West Finals. I really did. But once again, game on the line, James Harden, 7 points, 2 of 8 shooting. Had 13 assists and 5 rebounds. I don't even care about the assists. 7 points on 8 shots in a game 7 when your team needed you the most. You got to be kidding me. I'm getting on James Harden right now because I know he's better than that. But apparently he's allergic to game 7s. So maybe he's not better than that. This is not the first time we've seen this. And for the Clippers organization, it's like, it's funny, but then at times it's not funny because it's like, dude, how many chances are you going to have to be relevant in LA? It's gotten to the point for me as a resident Lakers fan, LA Clippers, you will never take over LA. LA will never be your city. Pack it up and go to Vegas. Get your own fan base. Do something. I mean, yeah, you got a new dome. You went to Inglewood, but you're still in California. This is the Lakers. You ain't far from the Lakers. Pack it up and go to Vegas. James Harden, getting to you, bro. It's like I can no longer put anybody who had James Harden top 3 in front of D Wade. Check your. You need to update your resume. I don't think you need to be talking about sports anymore. I'm sorry, because people forget about how good Dwayne Wade was because we seem to push him aside and overshadow him because he played with LeBron James. When Dwayne Wade was the one who won a championship before LeBron even came to Miami. LeBron came to Miami so he could win a championship with Dwayne Wade. You weren't winning before that. People forget about how good Dwayne Wade really was and how, come on, man, like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, that's who I put in front of Dwayne Wade for all-time shooting guards. Love James Harden. I've been a fan of his for a long time. But 2 of 8, 7 points in a game 7 when your team needs you to win, when you had a golden opportunity to put the Clippers in new heights, you do this. I got a huge problem with that. What's yours?
The Denver Nuggets coach, they fired Mike Malone. Their interim coach is David Adelman, Rick Adelman's son. James Harden, 2 of 8, 7 points, 13 assists, 1 for 4 from the 3-point line.
It's pathetic.
Played 35 minutes in game 7.
That's pathetic.
I picked the Clippers. I gotta own that. I was wrong. They didn't get the job done. To me, I can blame James Harden, yes, and I'm not taking away from your point. James Harden is the blame. He definitely should get significant parts of the blame. But game 7, they just look lifeless. Like they look like all right, they started off the game good, but after that, it's just the energy. They just didn't have it. So
it's game 7. How can you possibly lack energy in game 7 in the playoffs? What more do you want?
I have no idea.
That's insane. That's insane to me that you felt like that's what you saw. And I trust your basketball judgment. But the fact that you said that says a whole lot about that team.
Yeah, I mean, you could when you watch the game, you could just see the Nuggets were flying around. The Clippers, like James. All right, watching James Harden, he's so lackadaisical that it's like, bro, like why are you just like that? Like the pass he threw is in the second quarter. He threw a pass. It was a turnover. The Nuggets stole the ball and they got a layup. They stole the ball. They shot a free throw line jump shot. They missed that. Then they got the offensive rebound and put it back in. Like they just didn't have the energy. They didn't have the effort that they needed to win that game. And that was definitely the saddest part for me picking them to go to the finals. I picked them to go to the NBA finals. They didn't even get out the first round. So I can't disagree with what you said about the Clippers or disagree with what you said about James Harden. For my version of Let's Talk About It, ladies and gentlemen, before I speak, I must play something that I said a few weeks ago. Go ahead, Ross. Donovan Mitchell, they're not superstars. They stars. They're very good players, but they're not superstars. Now, I will say, Donovan Mitchell, you have a chance to show me that you're a superstar. If you lead your team to a championship, I got to shut the hell up. You're a superstar. But a lot of these other guys that you guys consider to be superstars, they're nice players. They put on a great highlight tape and they'll wow you. But to be a superstar, you have to have 5 facets of the game, in my opinion: offense, defense, make your teammates better, make your coach better, and make your situation better. A lot of these guys that we consider to be superstars, they stars, man. They're not really superstars.
I got to push back on Anthony Edwards.
Let me ask you a question. So Anthony Edwards is a superstar in your opinion?
I think he is, because look, what you define as a superstar is valid. I understand that you need a guy that's going to make your team better, but I saw a different, and he's obviously not there anymore, but I saw a different Karl Anthony Towns with Minnesota when Anthony Edwards was there. Now I know that they underachieved a little bit in that playoff run they had, but Karl Anthony Towns didn't look as soft as he normally does. Now, I've been on the record saying that Karl Anthony Towns is one of the softest star players, in my opinion. But Anthony Edwards is box office. You know, I'll put on my New York accent. Box office. Because, like, look, you're paying a ticket to go see this guy play.
Yes.
When he comes to your town, you want to go see that guy. Whereas the Donovan Mitchell, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Donovan Mitchell, cool. Anthony Edwards, you want to go see that guy because you know that somebody's going to be on a poster. A lot like 80s Michael Jordan used to be. A lot like Vince Carter used to be.
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Go on.
Was Vince Carter a superstar during his time, or was he a star?
Respect to the great Vince Carter.
He was a star.
He was a star.
Thank you, bro. And that's what Anthony Edwards is. He's a star. Bro, listen. Ladies and gentlemen, I love Ant-Man. But does he make his teammates better? They traded think about this. They traded Karl Anthony Towns because they like, all right, yo, it's your show. You got it, Ant-Man. You got it. Bro, has he made Julius Randle better? Has he made Rudy Gobert better? Has he made Mike Conley better? Has he made McDaniels better? No.
I think Julius Randle and Anthony Edwards.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong. Anthony Edwards is a superstar. A superstar of the highest order. That man is that. I am wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing I did when I created this show, like anybody I did the show with, whether it's Tim, John, Ross, etc. When I'm wrong, I wanted us to come on and be like, yeah, man, I didn't see that. I was wrong on that. Instead of going on TV and lying to people like, yeah, man, I think this team will go to the finals knowing damn well, they have no chance, but you just got to keep hope alive. Ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong. Doing that soliloquy of me talking, again, that guy was terrible. I don't know what the hell he was talking about. I asked, did he make McDaniels better? Did he make Randall better? Did he make Gobert better? Did he make Conley better? Ladies and gentlemen, game one, Anthony Edwards 22-9, 22-9-8. Game two, 25. He didn't have any assists in game two. That's the one game that they lost. Understand. Game three, 29-8-8. Game four, 43-6-9. Game five, he struggled from the field, but still gave you 15, 8, and 11, 15, 11 rebounds and 8 assists. But the most important thing I seen that man, there was two things I seen him do during that first round playoff series with the Lakers that told me he's a superstar of the highest order. That man defended the Lakers' three best players. I seen him stick Austin Reeves at times. I seen him stick Luka Doncic at times. I seen him stick LeBron James at times. I am not saying he's this person who I'm about to say, but we in the NBA, they're trying to find the next Kobe. Like, who is Kobe? Like, man, is it Devin Booker? Is it Jason Tatum? No, it's that guy. Because the only person I seen do that was Kobe during my time. Like, stick the best player, willing to stick the best player, and like, okay, I'm gonna still give you mine on the offensive end as well. So, Anthony Edwards, I was wrong. You are a superstar, a top 5 player. I always thought you were around 5 to 7, but you're a top 5 player. You've improved Mike Conley. You've improved Jaden McDaniels. Rudy Gobert had 27 and 24 in the closeout game. The man was looking like Wilt Chamberlain. So, and a lot of that was because of the coverage that they had on Ant-Man. So, I mean, really, Rudy Gobert could have had 50 in the closeout game against the Lakers. Like, he really could have, like the way they were playing. So, and obviously they didn't have any size. That's another subject for another day. But the point is that Anthony Edwards, I was wrong. You're a superstar. I took a lot of heat when I said that he wasn't a superstar. Ladies and gentlemen, I see why y'all say he was a superstar. And again, I was wrong. Ant-Man, salute, my brother. You're a superstar.
This began last year when the Timberwolves took out the Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker. Ant-Man is different, bro. He wants to take out – he loves taking out the legends. Like, he took them out. Now he didn't took LeBron and Luka out. He got a legit chance to take Steph Curry out. If you do that, Minnesota Timberwolves getting to the finals becomes real and more real by the day. I done told you because I've been watching this man. He's not Michael Jordan, guys. Everyone cool it. He's not Mike Jordan. I'm saying the aura, the attitude, the energy reminds me of a young Mike Jordan. Hungry, athletic. Wasn't all the smoke. There's this video of him when he's checking LeBron James. He's pushing him. LeBron's like trying to as you know, LeBron's big and strong than everybody, so he tries to bully everybody. And man said, "No, I ain't have none of that." Pushing back. That's the little stuff that I'm talking about. Where it's like, that's my leader. That's the little stuff like that. That's my leader. It's not always about the stats. It's about, yo, follow me because I don't care about this guy. I don't care about no Luka Doncic. I'm here. My team's ready. And we not going back to Minnesota. I thought that the Lakers were going to win. It was a foregone conclusion the Lakers were going to win and have the series go back to Minnesota 3-2. And then maybe Minnesota will close them out and say, nah, hell with that. We're not going back to Minnesota. We're gonna take care of this right now in LA in front of all your fans. And then afterwards, I'm going to walk around your city trying to find everybody that said, like people like me, you know, making all the rounds talking about Minnesota, Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, Lakers in 5. I'm going to go around the entire city and say, hey, I remember all them rhymes. Wolves in 5, Motorola, Casanova, Wolves in 5. That's Anthony.
Ant definitely he definitely different. He definitely he showed me that he definitely showed me he's a superstar. And I get why most of y'all thought before this he was a superstar. And the rhymes at the end, Motorola, Coca-Cola, whatever he said. Like, I just love it because like he got that dog in him. He makes it fun. He makes it competitive. And if you look at this playoff resume, he knocked off Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. He knocked off Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, who's a big-time playoff performer. He knocked off LeBron James, Luka Doncic. If he can find a way to knock off Steph Curry, and I'm going to add Draymond in that just because of Draymond's career. Yeah, Hall of Famer. And then go to the finals and maybe play Western Conference Finals and maybe play Shea or play Jokic and knock one of them off or knock Jokic off again or knock Shea off. His playoff resume would be crazy. And my last point is this. Like, we sleep on this. Minnesota was in the Western Conference Finals last season. So it's not like it really should be a surprise to us that they're doing this. But the way he balled out in that first round series, playing defense, getting his teammates better, calling out the team like, all right, man, we didn't play our best in game 2, and calling out the team like, yeah, listen, this is how we need to play in game 3, game 4, and game 5, and actually fulfilling that and executing that plan. Anthony Edwards, again, ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong. It's okay to admit in life when you're wrong. I was wrong. Ant-Man, you're a superstar. And I look forward to seeing you in the Western Conference semifinals against Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. That should be a great series.
You had the nerve to call this man a star. How dare you?
Yeah, I was wrong. He's not a star. He's a superstar, a top 5 player in the NBA. At some point in time, we're going to give out we can do our top 10 players list in the NBA. We can definitely do that. But yeah, he's definitely a top 5 player. Where you want to rank him at? I think Jokic is the best player. Anywhere I at now, he could be from 2 to 5. However you want to rank him, he could be right there. So if you think Giannis is better, you think Luka's better, you think Ant's better, Wemby, Tatum, whoever you think is in there, Anthony Davis, whatever. So
I just think if Ant somehow takes Minnesota to the finals and gets a ring, this could be one of the greatest like runs we've ever seen by a player in NBA history on the way to like a first title. When you think about it, it's gonna be hard. I don't see it. I don't see Minnesota winning the championship right now. But if Ant was able to carry this team to a championship, the run to get there and who he took out to do it, it's got to be up there with one of the greatest runs of all time.
No, it definitely would be. It definitely would be amazing. Just the star power he would have knocked out in the Western Conference. LeBron, Luka, Steph, Draymond, and then Shea or Jokic and Jamal Murray to get to the NBA Finals. That would be amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Highly Opinionated. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of Highly Opinionated is brought to you by Edibly Airy. Enjoy the heightened experience of THC edibles in a whole new way. At Edibly Airy, our freeze-dry edibles available in 100 milligram, 200 milligram, 300 milligram, 400 milligram will give you the buzz you crave with a flavor you won't forget. Available in 3 different flavors: watermelon sunset, tropical fruit, and berry. To place orders, please visit the website at ediblyairy.com. While you're there at ediblyairy.com, use a promotion code. You guys see the promotion code on the screen? $ Highly Airy, $. Again, $ Highly Airy, $ for 20% off your first purchase. Follow us on IG at Edibly Airy for new product releases and monthly hookups. Must be 21 and over to purchase. Edibly Airy, the best freeze-dry edibles out. Go shop. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Highly Opinionated. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. The floor is yours. Dylan, take it away, my brother.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Dill's Bangin Breakdowns. Josh, John, what's going on, guys? UFC 259 Fight Night. Where do we even begin with that? This little recap on it can be short because everybody on this card did not impress me besides the last 3 fights on the main card, pretty much. Is Bo Nickel overrated, we should say? I'm not sure. Did Corey Sandhagen look absolutely amazing? He did. Give him that. Unanimous decisions all over. Submissions, a couple TKOs on the prelims. Nothing really did it for me on the prelims. Maybe Juliana Robertson against Marina Rodriguez. That was actually a pretty good fight. Robertson looked great. She got a KO. She's getting old. She's been in the UFC, but she is still climbing the ranks for her age. That was a great fight between them. Main card started. I thought the Ohio native Jeremy Stevens was going to come out and do something against Mason Jones, but Mason Jones looked great. It was a unanimous decision, went full 15 minutes, but Jones put a beating on Jeremy Stevens pretty much the whole entire time. 5 rounds of an ass whooping to Jeremy Stevens. I think Jeremy Stevens is in his last 9 fights, he's won 1 of them. So I'm not sure what he's doing. I'm pretty sure he does bare knuckle fighting. He should stick maybe to that because the UFC is not doing it for him right now. Even though he's a tough fighter, he never gives up. He could have tapped at one point. He was getting beat on the ground. Jones looked great, and he's climbing the rankings. That lightweight division is already stacked. The next 2 fights in that main card, unanimous decision. I watched them. Nothing really drew me into them. Smotherman actually is very good. He was very quick. He was jabby and just very, very quick. His hands are fast. That guy is crazy in the bantamweight. And then bantamweight right after them also, Montel Jackson took the win in the unanimous decision. That was pretty good too. He's quick too. Both those guys I watch out for, but the bantamweight division's already stacked as it is. Last 3 fights on the main card, Daniel Rodriguez came out and put a whooping on Santiago Ponzinibbio. 3rd round, but he still put crazy work in 2 rounds, and D-Rod is on a mission to climb them rankings, and he is in the win column. Good for D-Rod. Big fan of him. Keep an eye out for him. I've always said that. Crazy record in the UFC too. He has 9 wins by knockout, 4 wins by submission, 5 first round finishes. D-Rod's the guy. Look out for him. My first question I asked when we started this segment this evening is Bo Nickel overrated? And after the Ritter just put that whooping on him in 2 rounds, yes, Bo Nickel I think is overrated. His wrestling, he was ready to do something. Ritter had him every aspect outbeat. Grappling, punches, kicks, defense, offense, distance, management, reading them, everything. Bo Nickel was trying to get a ranking. He was overrated. He was hyped coming into the UFC. He's a state champion in Penn State wrestling, all the above. No. Rainier de Ritter told you that this is the UFC, and you got it handed to you. You took a knee you took multiple kicks and knees to the stomach and chest area. And after one left knee landed, the last left knee in the 2nd round landed, it puts you down. KO. You've never been KO'd. It was your only loss in the UFC, Bo Nickel. And welcome to the UFC with that one again, because Ritter told you what's up. Keep an eye out for de Ritter, because he's crazy. Looking forward to his next fight. Main event, Corey Sandhagen proved that he is the real deal. He said it, 50-50 grappling with Davidson Figueiredo. If you can't do it, don't do it. He tried to do it. Figgy's knee popped out. That's a win in my book by Sandhagen. They called it, I'm pretty sure, Dr. Stoppage KO maybe, but that's a KO. Grappling, you do the do, and you hurt something, you break something, you're donezo. Corey Sandhagen looked great. It was a 5-round fight. He was prepared for 5. It didn't even go to round 3. It ended at 4 minutes in the 2nd round. He called to be a backup fighter in a couple weeks. I think a couple weeks for the O'Malley fight with Merab Dvalishvili. He called he wants to be the backup fighter in June for that. That would actually be pretty crazy. Sandhagen didn't really take any damage, so that'd be pretty cool. I would like to see that. He'd be ready for it. All right, enough with the recap from that. Let's go see what we got going on with UFC 315. And this one's going to be a crazy fight. I am looking forward to UFC 315. A lot of great fights. We got a double belt fight. We got Jose Aldo. We got some Alexa Grasso. We got BSD, Benoit Saint Denis. I don't even know where to start on this one. Jessica Andrade. It's just stacked. I guess they want to get you they want to draw you in from the pre-prelims, which we do have pre-prelims starting super early, 6:30. I'd like to get dialed in. We got a couple scrappy guys coming in to start it out. I'm not sure, but all these guys are pretty scrappy coming in. We know Marc-Andre Buriat, excuse me for pronouncing that wrong, and Bruno Silva. That's going to be a crazy one to end the pre-prelims. Bruno Silva's a monster. Jessica Andrade's fighting Jasmine. Oh, don't even want me to pronounce her last name. But number 7 versus number 9, women's flyweight. Jessica Andrade has already had a crazy run. She lost a few. Please come back, Jessica Andrade, and climb them rankings. She's a scrapper. She throws them hands. That's a good one. Main card on this one, pretty stacked. Benoit Saint Denis versus Joel Alvarez. That's a crazy fight. Lightweight, both them guys are giants going into that lightweight division. Benoit's coming off a loss to Moicano because Moicano want money and Moicano likes to fight. Joel Alvarez, he is coming off a win, That's going to be, let's go for both them. That's going to be a great fight to start the main card. Next one coming off the main card, we have Alexa Grasso and Natalie Silva, number 5 versus number 1. Women's flyweight is up for grabs tonight, or that night, versus Valentina Shevchenko and Manon Fariat. Whoever wins, Alexa Grasso and Natalie Silva, you're fighting either one of them. So I hope you guys watch that fight very, very close, because I have Manon Fariat winning. She's a monster. I watched her climb the rankings. She beat Rose Namajunas, a former champion. Valentina Shevchenko has held the belt for so long. I have a feeling that maybe her time has come to an end, or she's still that woman and that badass and is going to keep going with that belt. But either way, that woman's flyweight between Natalie Silva and Alexa Grasso is going to be a banger. And as much as I want Alexa Grasso to win, Natalie Silva in her last fight looked great against Jessica Andrade. She put a whooping on her, and that's why Jessica Andrade is on the prelims and Natalie Silva is on the main card. So I'm going to take – we'll start from the beginning of this card real quick to give you my lock in. I'm going to take Yoel Alvarez, Natalie Silva. Third fight in, we got washed up maybe Jose Aldo versus Amian Zahibi. Zahibi's a crazy good fighter. His last fight was great versus Munoz. That was both of them scrappy. He's coming off a dub. Jose Aldo has been knocked out so many times. He's coming off a loss against Batista. Is it a stepping stone for Amanian Zabibia? Excuse me, hard last name. Is it a stepping stone? I think it is. So I'm going to count Jose Aldo out of the UFC after this fight. He's probably going to retire. He's getting old. He's in his 40s. So Iman Zahibi, I'm taking that one. Co-main event, title fight, women's flyweight title, Valentina Shevchenko versus Manon Fariat. I'm going to take Manon. Like I said, I've watched her. She beat up Rose. She's beat up people in the past. She's long. She's lanky. She's coming off a win. Valentina Shevchenko is still coming off a win, beating Alexa Grasso. This card is actually filled with people who beat and who have lost to people. Aaron Blanchfield lost to Manon Fariat her last fight, so Manon's coming off a win. Valentina Shevchenko. That's going to be a crazy fight, but I'm going to take Manon in that one. And the main event, Bilal Muhammad versus JDM. Both people in this fight are two totally different, I think, in the way they've fought. Bilal has fought nothing but top dogs. JDM climbed his way up through the people already in the rankings and who aren't even in the rankings anymore. Bilal's already held the belt. He's fought. He is seasoned when it comes to the 5-round fights. Not to say I'm not counting JDM out. Jack Della Maddalena throws hands. He takes 5 rounds. He'll do it all. He fought with a broken arm, I'm pretty sure, in one of his fights. He is the next up-and-comer. He's beat Gilbert Burns. He has 12 wins by knockout, 2 wins by submission, 8 first-round finishes. Yeah, we already know he's a monster. He's actually, last 3 fights, he beat Kevin Holland. He's beat Burns. He's beat Hafez. Yeah, this is going to be a very, very good fight. Bilal's coming off a win also against Leon. He beat Burns also. Him and Sean Brady fight was pretty crazy. He knocked out Sean Brady right before the 3-round mark. That's going to be a very, very good fight. But I'm going to go with JDM on that one. That's my go-to. So I'm going to go Alvarez, Silva, Zahibi, Manon Fariat, and JDM on that crazy one. I hope everybody watches this one because I'm looking forward to it. These are going to be crazy. And we'll give it up. That's my breakdown, guys. I hope everybody tunes in. I will catch you next week. Thank you, everybody. And hopefully, go O's. Let's get a good run.
Dylan, my guy, you are the best. Thank you as always. As I said last week, man, Dylan, so honored to have you on the show, bro. You could really have your own UFC boxing show, but you grace us here on Highly Opinionated, bro. So thank you very much. Can't wait to see you next week. John, in the show like we always do, let's wrap it up with the NBA playoffs. So
Right.
the first round of the NBA playoffs are over. The second round was set. You have the number 1 seed Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the number 4 seed Indiana Pacers in the second round. Currently, Indiana's up 1-0. They won game 1. You have the number 2 seed Boston Celtics against the number 3 seed New York Knicks. Game 1 is Monday night, 7:30 on TNT. And in the Western Conference, you have the number 1 seed Oklahoma City Thunder versus the number 4 seed Denver Nuggets. That series starts Monday, game 1 at 9:30 on TNT. And you have the number 7 seed Golden State Warriors taking on the number 6 seed Minnesota Timberwolves. That series starts Tuesday at 9:30 Eastern on TNT. One quick correction. The Knicks and the Celtics game 1 isn't at 7:30. It's actually Monday at 7 p.m. on TNT. Just want to correct the time and the date. So, John, who is advancing to the NBA Conference Finals? You can start off whatever conference you want, whatever series you want. Go ahead from there.
Sure, yeah, I'll break them all down. I'll go from east to west. Indiana and Cleveland. The Cleveland Cavaliers should go to the East Finals. However, I will say that this will be a more competitive series than people think. Darius Garden, their starting point guard, is injured. That's a big deal. He is a big cog in the machine that has been the Cleveland Cavaliers all season long. They got a great backup point guard in Ty Jerome, but Darius Garden needs to be healthy for the Cavaliers to get back in the series, first of all, and make sure they don't lose. But because I can see this series actually going 7 games. Tyrese Halliburton is about a month ago. Tyrese Halliburton was ranked the most overrated. He was voted the most overrated player in the NBA by his peers. You think he can see that and then take that personal? If we learned anything from the Milwaukee series, that Tyrese Halliburton, in my opinion, is not overrated. Is he a superstar? No, I'm not willing to go that far yet. But he's a very, very good player. And Indiana is a very deep team. Like they play with pace, like the Cavaliers like to play, and they have a very good bench. This team matches up very well with Cleveland. So I think this can be potentially a 6 or 7 game series. I think the Cavaliers will eventually move to the East Finals, but we cannot keep sleeping on the Indiana Pacers with the depth that they have and the way that Tyrese Halliburton has been playing. For the Knicks in Boston, it was a nice year in New York Knicks, but it's over. Boston will probably win that series in 5 games, and I might even be generous in giving the Knicks 1 game. Love Jalen Brunson. He's the clutch player of the year. He's been amazing in the fourth quarter in the first round series against Detroit. Karl-Anthony Towns has played well. OG Anunoby's been decent. Mikal Bridges has been decent. But I just feel like there's something missing from a depth perspective with the Knicks, and you need depth if you're going to take out a team like Boston. The way that they shoot the three, the way that they have strength in numbers. It's not just Tatum and Jaylen Brown that can hurt you. Al Horford's there. Drew Holiday's there. Derek White's there. Peyton Pritchard, the 6th man of the year, is there. Porzingis. You can keep going on. I just think that this is going to be ultimately be too much for the Knicks. I think they'll fight. I don't think it's going to be, blowout games. I think the Knicks will fight. But I just think the Celtics are just flat out going to be too much for them, and the Celtics will overtake the Knicks in 5 and move on to the East Finals. And I still have them going to the NBA Finals out of the East. Going out west, we have the Warriors and the Timberwolves. It's an intriguing matchup. Warriors is obviously just came out of a grueling 7-game series with the Houston Rockets. Shout out to them. Shout out to Amin Thompson with the Houston Rockets. This guy's going to be amazing. He's going to be a superstar soon. Mark my words on that. He's obviously got a lot of growth to do, especially with that jump shot. But once he gets that, and I know he's going to work on it, look out. Amin Thompson is coming. But the Warriors coming out of that series, Steph Curry showed us why. Well, the Warriors as a team showed us why their model strength in numbers, really holds key. We saw Buddy Hield go off for 33 points. I don't think anybody had that on their betting sheet. Draymond Green came up big. Jimmy Butler made timely shots. Steph Curry, I still think, had a really great games, and this isn't being talked about. He had 10 rebounds. He had only 2 turnovers, 2 steals, and he had 2 blocks. He was playing like really good defense. The knock on Steph Curry has been he's not a very good defender. I saw him really locking up some guys. There was a play where Jabari Smith of Houston, this guy's 6'9", all maybe 230, 240 against little Steph Curry. Steph Curry's holding his own down there. Like he's really bodying him up without fouling, making him take a tough shot. He's getting in there, getting tough rebounds. He's scoring not just with the 3, but getting to the basket. He was finding different ways to win when the jump shot wasn't going, which is something we may have lamented with Steph Curry when he has an off night. How effective can he still be? He still requires a bunch of attention from defenses, but I thought the way that he played last night was inspiring, because when your best player shows you other ways to help to affect the game and win, that's a big deal that courses throughout the entire team. It gives the other team life. So I think Steph Curry deserves a lot of credit for how he played in that Game 7, despite how he started out. With that being said, we saw how bad Houston's size was hurting Golden State. Minnesota's going to do the exact same thing, and I think even better, because now you're not dealing with a young Alperen Sengun and a Steven Adams. You're dealing with Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert. you're dealing with Nas Reed, you're dealing with Jaden McDaniels and Anthony Edwards. That's a lot of length. And as we've seen, size and length is going to be bothersome to the Warriors. So whichever team dictates the pace of the game and dictates how this game is going to be played is the one that will win this series. I like Minnesota. I was kind of leaning towards the Warriors because of like all that championship experience and all that. But I just think Anthony Edwards is on a different mission this year. I think the Wolves showed that they are for real and that the size that they have is going to really bother some teams. I think Minnesota takes this series in 6 against the Warriors because I think the size is going to be too much for them. Too much Anthony Edwards, too much Julius Randle. And finally, we have Oklahoma City and Denver, the battle of the 2 MVP finalists, SGA and Jokic. This is tough for me. Oklahoma City's been amazing all season long. The Nuggets showed me a lot in that last series against the Clippers, after firing their coach and everything that they've been through. It's hard for me to pick against the best player in the league, Nikola Jokic, who I think a lot of people think should win the MVP again. But I just think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren and the crew, this is their year to show that, last year was last year. This year is a different team, and we're out for blood. So I think Oklahoma City wins a tough series with Denver in 6 games. So I got OKC in 6. I got Minnesota in 6, Celtics in 5, and the Cavaliers in 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, we don't go over none of these picks before the show. Like if y'all, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give y'all a little deeper inside. I'll give y'all a little bit deeper inside to our show production. If y'all laughed at our show production, whether it's the show production with me and John, me and Tim, or etc., y'all would laugh. I'd be like, how do y'all put out a good show and y'all show production is like this? Seriously. So we never discussed picks. Seriously. Never text, never none of that. I agree with you on the East. I like the Celtics in 5, and that's being nice. The reason why I like the Celtics in 5, the Knicks are the worst team to play against the Celtics because they drop their big man when they pick and roll. So now Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns are playing drop coverage. Well, the Celtics, they want to shoot threes. Like you're letting them play their game. They're basically they're walk-up practice shots. That's what the shots will be. So I like the Celtics. I think the Celtics go back to the Eastern Conference Finals. Cavaliers in Indiana. We saw game 1 on Sunday. The Indiana won, took home court advantage in Cleveland. I think Cleveland will win in 7. I like the Cavs to win in 7. Indiana will get up and down. Indiana is really 12, 13 players deep. They definitely play 10 players a night. So, but I think Cleveland, number 1 seed, game 7. They lost game 1, so they'll have their antennas up. Also, I think they lost game 1 because they had that blowout of Miami. They got rid of them so fast. Whereas though Indiana, and I know Indiana and Milwaukee played 5 games, but still they blew. Indiana and Milwaukee played competitive games more than Cleveland and Miami did. That series was never close. So I thought Cleveland was on cruise control, and they paid advantage. They paid for it in game 1 when they lost at home to Indiana. But I like Cleveland in 7. So I like Boston in 5, Cleveland in 7 in the East. In the West, you took Minnesota in 7?
I took Minnesota in 6, and then I took OKC in 6.
Okay. I like Minnesota in 7. I think, as I said in the last segment, Anthony Edwards is a superstar. He's shown me that he's a superstar. I like what he's done with McDaniels. He's made McDaniels better. Dante DiVincenzo has more confidence. Mike Conley, Julius Randle. This is the Julius Randle's best playoff series was the series he just played in against the Los Angeles Lakers. That's the best playoff series I've ever seen him play in. He was efficient. He was dominant. He took what was there. He took what they gave him, and at times he took what they didn't give him, and that's great.
For me, he played defense. He took defense personal in that series, and I never saw that kind of tenacity from Randle in the playoffs. Not him down defense.
He was moving them feet, as Kendrick Perkins say, moving them puppies. He had Luke in front of him, he had LeBron in front of him, he had Austin Reeves in front of him a couple times. He was moving them feet, moving that feet. So I love that. I'm gonna take Minnesota in 7. I think, like you said, the size and the length will affect Golden State, and I think just this 7-game series against Houston, a physical Houston team, who, like you mentioned, Amen Thompson, the guard forward. He just needs to work on his jump shot. If he works on his jump shot, the Rockets should involve him in no trade. They should be hanging on to him for dear life. They should not be involved.
He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere.
I'm just saying. We've seen crazy things happen in
No,
the
no.
NBA.
I hear you. I'm just saying, if I'm the GM, there's no shot in hell I'm doing anything with Alvin Thompson.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He should be in no trade. That includes trades for Kevin Durant or Giannis Antetokounmpo. No, we need you. We need you to be the head of the snake on that team. So I like Minnesota in 7, and I'm gonna take Oklahoma City in 7. I think both West Series go 7 games. I'm a big Nikola Jokic fan. I think he's the best player in the league. But I think the advantage that they had on the Clippers struggled in late game execution and were lackadaisical. The Thunder will not be lackadaisical, and they will execute in late game execution moments. So I think the Thunder win the West in 7, Thunder in 7, Timberwolves in 7, Celtics in 5, and the Cleveland Cavaliers in 7. So we're great. If for me, we got 3 game 7s. So basketball fans, we would love that. For me, again, Indiana, Cleveland, Golden State, Minnesota, and OKC and Denver. Anything you want to add? Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just saying, like, I agree with you. Like, I hope we do get a bunch of game 7s. Like, as the average basketball fan, it's going to make it fun for us. This is more fun time of the year. Like when this is when the real basketball gets started. It's like there's no more like, a lot of people say the NBA kind of like tails off a little bit in the regular season. Guys aren't really playing defense, playing hard. There's no more of that in the playoffs, especially in the semifinals. Like this is the last 8 teams. These are a bunch of teams that are looking for their first championship too. So there's a lot of hunger. There's a lot of hungry guys on the playoffs. A lot of hungry teams searching for that first championship. And I love the tenacity I'm seeing from the Wolves. I love the championship medal that I see from the Warriors. I see Oklahoma City trying to send a message that they can't be disrespected anymore. Jokic is saying, not so fast, I'm still here. And, look, the New York Knicks, we'll find out. I mean, a lot of people are dismissing the Knicks right now. I guess they don't think they can beat the Celtics. The Celtics have, trounced them in the regular season 4-0, and the games weren't close in each one of them on average. So the Knicks have something to say about it. Like, this is your chance, New York Knicks, to should we take you serious? Or are you the same old Knicks when it comes to the better teams in the NBA? And then Cleveland, show me. I've been down on you all season long. I still think I'm still down on you. I don't believe in you. Make me look stupid. I'm waiting to see what you got for me. So far, I look right with Indiana going up 1-0. But long playoff series, as we both expect. Let's find out.
Yeah, you're right. This is the time to prove it. The last 8 teams left in the NBA playoffs. If this was college basketball, would be the Elite 8. So last 8 teams have a chance. Obviously, Boston has a chance to repeat, but 7 teams going for not their first championship. Denver obviously won the championship before, but a lot of these teams, like you mentioned, Oklahoma City, Minnesota, the Knicks, Indiana, like going for their first championship in a while, speaking for the Knicks, or going for their first championship ever in the NBA. So definitely should be some great basketball in the conference semifinals. You got great matchups from Steph Curry versus Anthony Edwards, Nikola Jokic versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Hollenberg versus Donovan Mitchell, and you got Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown versus Cat and Jalen Brunson. So should be a great second round of NBA playoff action. We will be right here to cover it for you guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching episode 36 of Highly Opinionated. For the best producer in the game, Ross. For the best co-host in the game, JG. I'm merely Josh. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the NBA playoff action. We will see you guys next week.